by the artist, as well as by Nolan Ryan, Akeem Olajuwon, and Earl Campbell. To purchase your autograph print, again, fill out the card at your place setting and either hold it in the air or put it in your table number stand, and one of our volunteers will come by to help you. Lastly, before we let you get back to your dinner conversation, I'd like to introduce the two people who are responsible for tonight's event. The woman with the vision for the Houston Awards Show, our Sports Authority's dynamic CEO, Janice Burke, and the woman who led the efforts to pull together all of this for tonight's event, Patty Smith. Now this seems to be the year of the woman, as we're watching many females raising their voices to speak up about issues that matter most to them. But our industry and community has already had two ladies out front, and most of you in the room probably already know them. One that was in our local sports media for many years, and the other who moved here in 2006 to take the reins at the Sports Authority. Patty Smith and Janice Burke, welcome to the stage, and let's make a presentation to tonight's beneficiary.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate all the support for our first inaugural event. I had a dream 10 years ago. So I came in 2006, and shortly after, I thought, we are such a great sports town. We have great owners, great venues, and superb fans, and we should be doing something along the lines of an Emmy or a Grammy Awards show. And so I'm really, really proud. Patty, I couldn't have done it without her and her vision. And we met and just started talking about, because she had the same vision when she was with Fox Sports. And so thank you to the teams, and because of the phenomenal support, we're able to give a $50,000 check tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much, Janice, and we couldn't be more proud of everybody here in this room. You know, you can't do an event of this magnitude without the help from a lot of different partners, a lot of different teams, and it's all about relationships, and I just want to thank everybody in the room. You're here for a reason. And as Janice said, we have a $50,000 check we'd like to present to the Star of Hope. I'd like to call Hank Rush from the Star of Hope up to the stage. You know, we talked about really who's the right partner for us to be from a charity standpoint on this. And as overseers of the stadiums, we look outside our stadiums and we see what issues we have with homelessness, and we wanted to be able to help that, to give back. So we partnered with Hank and the Star of Hope. We went down and toured their facilities. They're phenomenal, all the great work they do. So Hank Rush, on behalf of the Harris County Houston Sports Authority, Kenny Friedman and Janice Burke, we'd like to present you with this check.
Folks, we're very grateful for this significant gift, and we want to thank you for this opportunity. This gift will touch the lives of hundreds of homeless men, women, and children in our city, and some of those people will begin their journey out of homelessness because of this event tonight. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Everybody enjoying your evening? Feel kind of naked out here without a guy with a big smile and a sequin jacket standing next to me. Where's Calvin Murphy? The elite of the elite here tonight, a who's who. You're going to call a sculptor to start chiseling that Mount Rushmore. Well, this is the night to be here as far as Houston sports is concerned. My wife and I got a chance to visit the Star of Hope function on Tuesday night a couple of days ago, and what a fantastic organization this is. And it's events like this that empower the Harris County Houston Sports Authority to be able to help organizations like the Star of Hope, and for that, of course, we thank you. There are a lot of big awards coming up tonight, but as a special addition to this program, you know, we're happy to announce the 7th annual Guy V. Lewis Award winner. It's given every year to the Greater Houston Boys High School Player of the Year in basketball. Now, the award is, of course, to honor college basketball and Naismith Hall of Famer Guy V. Lewis, who was at the University of Houston from 1956 to 1986. It's awarded to Houston, the best player here in the Houston area. So if you don't know about Coach Lewis, well, I'm a graduate of the University of Houston. I've been to 3 of his 5 Final Fours, and of course, he put college basketball on the map here, and it all started really, people think it started in 1968. It really started before that, because you have to go back to really a man who started and integrated college sports here in the South as far as that is concerned. I know a lot of other people get some credit, but certainly Guy V. Lewis was one of on the forefront as far as that. Nearly 600 wins as a pioneer in the game. And one of the big games that everyone thinks about was in 1968 when Houston took on UCLA at the Astrodome. 52,000 fans, the biggest crowd ever to see a college basketball game. People thought, how can this ever work? How could you ever play a college basketball game in a football stadium? Guy V. Lewis was that far ahead of his time. When you think about now, all of college basketball's biggest games are played in those football stadiums. It was called the Game of the Century. We were happy to celebrate the 50th anniversary just a couple of weeks ago. Now, as far as this year is concerned, the Guy V. Lewis Award winner, you go back and you think about people who have won this. Rashid Solomon has been one of them. Aaron Harrison, Justice Winslow, Galen Robinson Jr., De'Aaron Fox, Nigel Hawkins, who won it a year ago. And ladies and gentlemen, I want your attention because this year's finalists are Quentin Grimes from College Park High School, Kendrick Davis from Sam Houston School, Nigel Hawkins, who won it last year, from Cy Falls High School. And joining us to bestow the award, the medallion on our winner, a couple of guys who are card-carrying members of Phi Slamma Jamma, Texas's tallest fraternity, Ronaldo Thomas and Eric Dickens. Guys. Right back here. Here they come. How you doing? Ricky, how are you? Good. Come on up, guys. Ricky, good to see you. Ronaldo, how you doing? Eric, Lyndon Rose. Man, look at this. A who's who. Ricky Winslow, Ronaldo Thomas, Eric Dickens, Lyndon Rose. Those are some men that Guy V. Lewis very much influenced their lives. The winner of the 2018 Guy V. Lewis Award for Greater Houston Area Boys High School Player of the Year, Quentin Grimes, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of Phi Slamma Jamma here tonight. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are about 25 minutes away from our live telecast. Tonight's program will be telecast on AT&T Sportsnet. Just a couple of housekeeping announcements to go over with you concerning the live broadcast, because we will be on live TV. There will be cues given to you throughout the evening. They'll alert you as to when do we go live. So, you know, if we can ask you to please not get up, I should say, and leave the room until the commercial breaks are over. And commercial breaks are 2 to 3 minutes in length. They alternate. Now, if you are back in your seat by the time we return from commercial break, if you're not back, the doors will lock out there. That is the bad news. The good news is there is a bar area out there in case you need it, and that you can re-enter the facility at the next break. Those breaks 8 to 9 minutes long. I should say those segments are 8 to 9 minutes long. So keep that in mind if you need to get up and you need to exit the area. So remember that. Also, we want to remind you that coming up at the end of tonight's show, you want to stick around for that, because we have a very big announcement that you do not want to miss. So please stick around for that. That is my end of my portion. Thank you all so very much. Enjoy your dinner. Enjoy what is going to be a very memorable and special night here at the first annual Houston Sports Awards. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 10 minutes to show. Ladies and gentlemen, the house will be going dark in 1 minute.
Greatness. Defined as notable, remarkable, or exceptionally outstanding. But what is greatness? What is it that separates the ordinary from the great? One might say a big difference is having a dream and doing whatever it takes to achieve that dream. Like a little boy in Nigeria, who up until the age of 17 had never touched a basketball. Recruited by the University of Houston, transforming the team into a global sensation, Phi Slamma Jamma, taking them to 2 NCAA championship games. The first draft pick of the Houston Rockets in 1984, taking them to back-to-back NBA championships. 2-time NBA Finals MVP, 12-time NBA All-Star, Basketball Hall of Famer. That's what dreams can achieve. What about hard work and dedication? Helping his father on paper routes and realizing at a young age what hard work was. After graduating Alpine High School, was drafted by the New York Mets in the 12th round. In 1980, he found his way home to the Houston Astros. 8-time All-Star, 5,714 career strikeouts, more than anyone in history. 7 career no-hitters, Baseball Hall of Famer with a 27-year career and has had his number retired by 3 separate major league organizations. This is greatness. What about domination and power? After leading John Tyler High School to the state championship, recruited to the University of Texas, where his 4,400 yards, 40 touchdowns, and 40 games earned him the 1977 Heisman Trophy. First overall draft pick of the Houston Oilers, 9,407 career rushing yards, 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time NFL Offensive Player of the Year, College Football and Pro Football Hall of Famer. That is domination. Ladies and gentlemen, this is greatness. This is what tonight is all about. And tonight we celebrate. Now stand up and put your hands together for Akeem Olajuwon, Nolan Ryan, and Earl Campbell. Just a young girl.
Live from the Hilton Americas, it's the 2018 Houston Sports Awards, presented by the Harris County Houston Sports Authority. Please welcome one of the all-time legendary voices of Houston Sports, Bill Worrell.
Hello, everybody. Boy, it's a real pleasure being here tonight with you because what a great program we have for you, especially when you think about the role that sports plays in the community. And you take Houston, for example. This is the first annual Houston Sports Award banquet, and you wonder why we didn't do this more often. But no matter where we did our first banquet, these three guys would be the first three we would be honoring anyway. We know about the terrible flooding in Houston. We know about the problems we have seen all around the county, of Harris County. Our athletes, I was so proud of them. I was so proud of the way our athletes came together with everybody else. There were so many heroes in Houston, and I was so proud of the fact that our athletes couldn't wait to chip in. They were the first ones out helping as first responders. Wasn't that great? But it's what brings and galvanizes a city. It's what brings us together as people. Sports has always been able to do that in our lives. It's the one thing that brings us, it's the great unifier that brings us together. And during the flooding, how about those Houston Astros? Did they... And now if they haven't gotten to your house yet and helped you rebuild, you've still got the Houston Rockets, who are now the #1 record in the NBA. And with Deshaun Watson, the Texans can't be too far behind, I'll tell you that. So that's what this is tonight. This is a few hours that we can get together and honor the greatest three players I have ever witnessed play in their individual sports. I remember calling games for Hakeem Olajuwon. Every night there was something new. Every night. He never ceased to amaze me. And the one thing that Hakeem and Nolan and Earl have in common, it's a thing I like to call PUP, P-U-P, poise under pressure. That no matter how tough it got, these guys would be there at the end of the game to win it. And those are what the great ones are made of. I tell a little story to Nolan. You know, Nolan, we were at the Texas Hall of Fame not too long ago, and Nolan ran into Calvin Murphy, and Calvin had his usual suit on with a pair of white alligator shoes that kind of went up like this, like one of Bum Phillips's boots, you know, just went up like that. And he said, Calvin, can I get a pair of those shoes? And I didn't know whether he was kidding or not. And Calvin said, I'll get you a pair of those shoes in 2 weeks. Calvin walked off. Nolan looked at Don Sanders and said, you think he's really going to get me those shoes? Well, Calvin's here tonight with no shoes, right, Nolan? No shoes. Hakeem Olajuwon, one of the greatest of all time. We're down 2-0 to Phoenix. We've lost the first two games in 1994 to the Phoenix Suns. We get on the plane to fly to Phoenix, and it's deathly quiet. You remember that, Dream? Deathly quiet. Dream's the last one to get on the plane. The first thing he says, gentlemen, do not be down. Life is a journey. Weren't we 20 points ahead in both games? And the player said, yeah, we were. Let's get up there and kick their butts. And that's what the Rockets did. They won 4 of the next 5 games. And one of the greatest, Earl Campbell, the Tyler Rose. I'll tell you a little side story that doesn't have anything to do with the Hall of Fame and touchdowns he scored. He loved country music as much as I did. And I remember one time Darrell Royal took me and Earl to Willie's house to listen to Willie Nelson pick. We're sitting there for about an hour, and Earl looks over at me and he says, "Hey, Bill," he says, "you think what they say about that secondary smoke is true?" So, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to have a good time tonight. Enjoy yourselves. Let's honor these three legends, and let's go back and look at the year we just had in 2017.
Protected. You get a block on the edge. He's going to get there. First down and more. And Deshaun Watson inside the 10 into the end zone for a touchdown.
Joy in a world that can be tough sometimes. But if you enjoyed me playing, you brought our families together, and I did my job. Thank you.
Now Lukaku. He's beaten Edison to it. Romelu Lukaku scores for Manchester United.
And a huge save, Henry Figueroa.
Hard played tightly by Curry. Capella straight down. There is Tucker. Here's a reason for three. It's a base hit. Fisher around third and coming home. They throw it up late. Not in time. Astros win. On the byline. Sanchez. It's Golden opportunity. Elise has to score. He does. Albert Elise.
Pulls the trigger.
Got it. Here's a ground ball right side. Can do it. The Houston Astros are world champions for the first time in franchise. Here comes Paul, 3-on-1. Off to Anderson. Here comes the #1 scorer in the NBA. Hard with a three. Here comes Paul in stride. The screen. The three. Good. Finish Capella. Will put it up and in. Wide open man. Young for the touchdown. And Texas takes over.
Now the state championship trophy being presented to the Cy-Fair Bobcats.
Be part of a great team. Here's Hilton blitzing off the slot again. Passer Hopkins. Oh my goodness.
What an unbelievable catch.
Well, that certainly was a great year. I am Seth Payne, former Houston Texan, and I'll be honest with you. I had to clear a lot of space on my schedule to get here tonight. I'm humbled to be here, but they said, Seth, can you do some things with me? I said, on one condition. You need to let me pretend to be J.J. Watt for one segment. So we're going to do this here real quick. Play along here. I am Seth Payne, 3-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year. That's applause. That's applause. 2-time NFL sacks leader. That's a pretty good one. And I raised $37 million for Hurricane Harvey relief this year. I gotta tell you, it feels pretty good. Kind of wish I'd worked harder in my career. I am also here with Opie Otterstad, who is the MLB designated artist who helped design the Houston Sports Award trophy. Tell us about this trophy.
Well, Patty came to me and said, Opie, you just go for it. You design awards? I'm like, yeah. I do now. So, I wanted to include as much about Houston as I could, being a native Houstonian, Jones High School graduate, U of H graduate. I wanted to include, I started at the base. I put a dome as the base because it all started with Roy Hoffines, 1965 with the Astros and the dome. And then we have NASA shooting astronauts around the globe and out into the stars. And we have superstars in this city for sports. And they circumvent the globe, or they go around the globe, and we have the ball at the center of the trophy. And, you know, we all aspire in our lives to be shooting stars. And then on the base of the trophy, we have never underestimate the heart of the champion, both in English because we know what that means, and in Latin just because it looks cool. And the thing that I like about the statement, in particular this year, is that we're not underestimating the heart of the champion within just the sports community. You know, Mother Nature took its best shot at us and underestimated the heart of our city, so.
Great job, Opie. Let's see who gets the first one.
Here to present the Houston Sports Awards Event of the Year are former Houston Texans Chester Pitts and Kylie Wong.
It's okay to keep clapping. It's cool. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Kylie, bro, did you see that trophy? Where were those trophies back when you and I were playing?
Dude,
Something like that.
no doubt. Where's an event like this back when we were playing? I mean, I come here, we haven't even put out the first award, and I'm already ready to buy my ticket for next year.
Absolutely. There's no way we're not going to be here for next year. But while we're on the subject of fancy events and cool happenings, there are certain things that have happened in your life and just unforgettable happenings that occur that they stay with you forever. You just can't let them go. They're fantastic experiences, and you truly never forget them.
And we experience these magnificent events, not just as individuals, but as a member of the United community, as Houstonians. And so, with that, I want to announce here are our 2017 Event of the Year nominees.
The Astros Championship Parade. Super Bowl 51. The 2017 World Series.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, do I really need to open this thing up? The event of the year, 2017 World Series, Houston Astros. Awesome. Reed Ryan, where are you? Where are you? Come on down. There he is. I love the stroll. Very nice, very nice.
On behalf of the Astros, very pleased to accept this award. The World Series was an incredible event. We went through the Boston Red Sox, we went through the New York Yankees, and we went through the Los Angeles Dodgers.
There you go.
And Game 2 and Game 5 were among the most epic games ever played in baseball history, and thank goodness we won the series. Our fans were tremendous. Thank you, everybody, for your support.
welcome the voices of Houston Texans, Mark Vandermeer and Heisman Trophy winner Andre Ware.
All right, Andre, I am blown away by the people in this room tonight. I mean, we've got Earl, Akeem, we've got Nolan, I see Roger Clemens over there. George Foreman is here. I'm in awe of the people in this room.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we don't agree on much without having to debate it to the T for a while, and then I finally get him to come to my side. But tonight I'm in agreement with him. What an event. What an atmosphere. I'm seated right next to the legend Calvin Murphy. I look over George Foreman, Vince Young, Enos Cabell. I mean, it's a packed house.
It's a who's who. We also agree on this. The Texans are going to have an outstanding year in 2018.
No doubt.
No doubt about it.
We got the combine right around the corner, the draft right after that. We are looking very much forward to 2018 with the Houston Texans.
Well, we're here to do some business, aren't we?
Yes, no doubt. I mean, we are here to pay tribute to one of our own Houston Texans. We were with J.J. Watt during Hurricane Harvey when it hit Houston.
Yeah, we were up in Dallas, stuck with the team up there, and really going stir crazy, so concerned. Our thoughts and prayers were going out to everyone in Houston, and everyone was trying to do something significant, and one man really stepped up.
Yeah, the one thing that kind of gave us peace in mind was really knowing that there was strong leadership back here in Houston when things really mattered.
Yeah, our community leaders really stepped up big in this event, obviously, and our next speaker among them for sure. Won't you please welcome Harris County Judge Ed Emmett.
Well, good evening. You know, last August, the rains of Hurricane Harvey challenged the Houston area. But there's a man named J.J. Watt who rose to meet that challenge. And J.J. created a fund, and he inspired others, and he asked people to give, and he thought he was going to raise $1 million. Well, people listen to J.J., and people respect J.J. Watt. And he raised $37 million. J.J. Watt, Sportsman of the Year, raised over $37 million in personal donations for relief of Hurricane Harvey. He couldn't be here tonight, but there's a video.
Path of destruction in Texas at this hour.
We've got more images coming in overnight of water overtaking streets, flooding homes and buildings, rescue crews saving people who chose to stay in their homes.
This is what meteorologists have been warning about. They're calling this an almost unfathomable amount of rain hitting this part of Texas.
A fundraising campaign launched by defensive end J.J. Watt has already collected more than $18.5 million.
Members of the Texans football team also flooded, but J.J. Watt and crew knew they had the means to push through. Now they want to make sure the rest of their city does.
You feel helpless seeing water rush down streets that I drive down every day. I said, how can I help? And so I started to think, and I said, have this incredible platform, have all this social media, all these followers, just look straight into the cell phone camera, start up a campaign, hoping to raise $200,000, and now we're over $27 million.
That's our city. It's very tough to watch your city get hit by such a bad storm and not be there to help. Not be there to help with the recovery, not be there to help with the process. It's very tough. So what I do want to do is I want to start a fundraiser because I know that these recovery efforts are going to be massive. I know that there's going to be a whole bunch of people we need to help get back on their feet. I know that there's going to be a lot we need to do to help rebuild.
We're going to be the ones handing out the water. We're going to be the ones handing out the cleaning supplies. The biggest thing for today is we want to put smiles on people's faces and be as efficient as we can helping people out.
Just want to give you a quick update of where we're at. We're unloading the 9 semis. This is what it looks like when volunteers come together. Thank you to everybody who's supported. Thank you to everybody who's helped.
I'm going to make sure that I do this thing right. Houston, we're all with you. You have a whole team, you have a whole city behind you, you have a whole world behind you. I just want you to know that we're with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2018 Academy Sports and Outdoors Sportsmanship Award recipient, J.J. Watt.
Turn down for what?
Receiving this award, I appreciate it so much. I understand you guys are honoring the great 34s of Houston tonight. Hakeem, Nolan, and Earl, three of my absolute legends, three people that I look up to so much, even before I got down here to Houston. But once I did get down here and see how big of an impact they had on this city and how many people they made happy throughout their careers, all I want to do is try and emulate that throughout my career. So congratulations to you guys. It's an honor to be in the same room or in the same breath as you. So I appreciate that. As to this award, I just want to say thank you to everybody who donated, to everybody in the city of Houston. This is so much bigger than just myself. This is about the entire city coming together as one, lifting each other up in some of their most difficult times. So I appreciate the award. I accept it on behalf of everybody who donated, on behalf of everybody who poured their heart and soul into these recovery efforts, and we're going to continue to do that throughout the years to come because there's so much work left to do and we're going to keep doing it. So thank you so much, Houston. I couldn't ask for a better place to call home. I love you. Thank you.
When the Houston Sports Awards return, we honor our first legendary 34. Welcome back to the Houston Sports Awards presented by the Harris County Houston Sports Authority. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Vandermeer and Andre Ware.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. You can't think of Earl Campbell without simultaneously thinking of Love You Blue and the Tyler Rose. As a fellow Heisman Trophy winner, I'm especially excited to honor Earl. In the sport where defenses historically punish the offense, Earl Campbell turned football on its head by taking the punishment to the defenders. Earl was as tough and as courageous as they came.
Yes, Andre, you know, in a league where defensive players were supposed to be running at him, he was running at them and through them and showed what toughness and grit were all about. Earl Campbell, he was, he is, he always will be the Tyler Rose.
Please welcome from America's Got Talent, R.L. Bell and Deep Soul. Please welcome from your Love Ya Blue Houston Oilers, Dan Pastorini.
Good evening. I have the dubious pleasure of introducing a person that I know needs no introduction here in Houston, Texas. He was part of the greatest era in football in the history of this town in Love You Blue in 1978 and 79. I remember when he first came to the team, kept hearing a lot of things about this rookie. Of course, you got to understand, when rookies come into the league, they're useless. So anyway, we see him at practice and everything, and he was pretty fast, pretty strong, but we still had to wait and see. So finally we play Atlanta the first game of the year. And I drop back and I throw a little screen pass to Earl over here to the right. And he catches it and goes 80 yards. That was my first ball exchange between he and I. And I thought to myself, you know, this is going to be easy pickings. I mean, one pass, 80 yards, a touchdown, my rating's going to go up. But then after further review, after the game, they decided that my pass was actually a lateral. So Earl got 80 yards more rushing and a touchdown, and I lost 80 yards on my passing and a touchdown. Needless to say, back in those days, we had a lot of fun. And I call Earl Abdul because he didn't change his name like Tony Dorsett did. And he always called me Pasto. Whenever I'd walk to the line of scrimmage, Earl would sit there and I'd look at him as we got out of the huddle, and I'd see this look in his eyes like he's thinking. And he'd say, "Hey, Pasto, what's the count?" And I always walked up to the line like this. We're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I hear over my shoulder, I'm walking up the line of scrimmage. "Hey, Pasto, what's the count?" And Jack Lambert says, "2, Earl. It's always on 2. I'll tell you, we never understood why Bum drafted him, whether it was because of his talent or because he knew Willie Nelson. I'll tell you what, the first time I met this kid, and he was a kid to me, I went up and congratulated him. The first thing he did with his bonus money was buy his mama a home. And that, to me, said enough about the character of my friend Earl Campbell. So, Earl, I am totally honored to give you this trophy tonight and be a part of your celebration. I love you, man. Always have, always will. Proud of you and proud for you.
Well, very well deserved, I would say. Yeah, I've gotten a chance to do some pretty exciting things in my life, but right now, sitting next to the legend, the Tyler Rose, ranks right at the top of them.
Thank you.
You played your very first state championship game in the Astrodome. You were drafted by the Oilers and played pretty much the significant portion of your pro career here in the city of Houston. What's your most memorable moment, football moment in the city?
How you all doing? You know, a lot of people, you know, football speaks for itself, but one day, it was a very beautiful day. We was at practice, and I seen this little guy, but this little guy was in the same place, the same spot every practice. So one day, you asked me about football, so this is one of my favorite things. I mean, it's probably the favorite. He had been standing there, so I go out to get in my car one day. You know, man, I never got in a hurry anyway, so I was kind of dragging along, and he says, "Hey, man, can I talk to you?" I said, "Yes, sir. What's the problem?" He said, "You don't know nothing about me, but my name is Joe Williams." I was like, "Oh, man, great. What's happening? What can I do? I mean, what's happening?" He says, "My daughter, she's going to be 3 years old soon. Blinded today." And I said, "Yes, so what?" You know. He says, "All she ever talk about is Earl Campbell, and she wants you to come to her birthday party." And I don't know why, but it was at a place called Angelo's Fisherman's Wharf. So Joe and I, he's gone now, bless his heart, and I think about him all the time. And people want to talk about football, but I think about things like that. because
Now, I am going to circle back to football because I'm kind of a historian in the sport. I love to study it, and I remember having a conversation with Jack Tatum one time. And I admired him, and I was sitting there like a kid in a candy store just eating up every single word that he talked about. And everybody was talking about these hard hits, and I finally got a chance to ask him a question. What was the biggest collision you ever took place that you took part in a football game? And he says, well, everybody thought it was Darryl Stingley. Everybody thought it was the tight end from Denver. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. He said, but I remember in a game against the Houston Oilers when I met Mr. Campbell. And he showed you and paid you a tremendous amount of respect. What do you remember from that game against Jack Tatum, the late Jack Tatum?
I remember, and Pastor Rainey's gone now, but we put that play in, and Carpenter was the wingman on the left side. Tim Wilson is the fullback, because Pastor Rainey is the quarterback. Tim Wilson supposedly hook around and take care of the middle linebacker. So that was on the board, I was just going to walk in and kind of have one little strong safety or something over to my right. So I figured that was my man. For some reason, Carpenter goes in motion like we've been working on. He's supposed to cut up in the hole after Tim and take care of Jack. So by the time he goes in motion, out of my eyes, see Jack moving. I said, oh hell. Because I knew what was going to happen. And Carpenter, for some reason, didn't turn up in the hole behind Tim. He decided to keep running to the sideline, and they turned Jack loose on me. And I didn't have very much because I hadn't really quite got that speed going, like I can roll over him, you know. And all I could see was him coming, so I said, well, I think the little guy, you know, boom, I could push him out of the way. And he had something else happen and hit me. And all that went back. That's probably the best lick I ever had.
He talks about it, and he said it was the best lick he ever had as well.
Yeah.
You see the room tonight. You see everyone congregated tonight. What's your message to the room, the city of Houston?
I'd like to say this first of all. I have a wife, very few people know, because we've been together since the very first day of the 9th grade. So she's been to a lot of people see me and a lot of people ask me, are you married? I said, yeah, I'm married. Well, you don't have on the ring. I said, well, I played golf one time before I got older and I lost it. So. But anyway, that's my wife, and we have 2 boys. And a lot of the time, everybody only hear about Earl, so I want everybody to know, yes, I do have a wife and a family, but in public, it's always just me and another guy, so people wonder about that, but you know, like I was up in Minnesota the other day, and this girl, I came out of this restaurant, this young lady caught me. I'm on a walker, y'all see me. I mean, what can I do on a walk? This lady kept talking to me like I was going to a party. Can I go with you, sir? I said, hey, you sure me? That's my son. But anyway, I think getting back to the subject, there is and thank God for this, because there is nothing like in the world being Earl Campbell. And there's nothing in the world coming back to Houston and all the traveling I do and this and this. You people, you think I made a difference in your life? Y'all really made a difference in my life. And it's like, I'm a big believer in Jesus Christ, so it's like God went before me. It's like God went before me, which I know, and he like worked out everything. I mean, I come from a family of 7 boys and 4 girls. My father dies when I'm in the 5th grade. My mother raised 11 kids. 2 older brothers played football, and the next brother didn't, but here come Earl. And when I was 11 years old, I knew that's what I wanted to do. And when I was about 15, I realized God gave me a talent. And all I did was just work at it, put a little mustard on it. And I played with great guys that made me look good. So don't you all for once think that there's not a day go by that I don't think about all those good days I had here in Houston. And we had a leader, that guy named Bum Phillips.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
And over the years, and this will be the last one, but years people ask me about this flag thing, you know, what would y'all have done? I say, well, Bum was our guy, so whatever he said, that's what we would have done. Thank you all very much. And thanks
Ladies
for
and gentlemen, Mr. Earl Campbell.
Coming up, we celebrate Houston's greatest moments, plus honor our Executive of the Year. Welcome back to the 2018 Houston Sports Awards. Please welcome the voices of your world champion Houston Astros, Todd Callis and Jeff Blum.
What a night, what a crowd. So happy to be here. The who's who of Houston sports is here. I mean, Blummer, look at all these.
You look at them, Todd.
What a ride it has been this year. Tonight is the perfect way to celebrate all these great achievements.
It has been great. Todd and I were privileged and lucky enough to have a great seat to watch this championship ride. But as you know, and as I know, Todd doesn't know it so much, but it took a long, tough struggle to get to where they're at right now.
Blummer, I do know this. When Jeff Luhnow took over the Astros, they were in the midst of 3 straight 100-loss seasons. In fact, at the end of that 3 years, his license plate read GM111 as a reminder, not only to the number of losses the Astros had that 3rd year, but also how much work he and his staff had in front of them. And the hard work, the bold moves, the perseverance, it all paid off this year.
However, his was an approach of long-term vision, commitment, a lot of patience. He was not to be deterred by some of those old school mentalities. He had his plan, and he created a team in the truest sense.
Seager. Slider that's popped up, shallow center field. Correa is out, calling everyone off. He's there, makes the catch, and that is the ball game. The Houston Astros are 2017 American League West champions.
Well, when he first came in, he came under a lot of question. They thought, who all these nerds coming into the room. But he was used to that. He got a lot of heat at the Cardinals, so we talked about that a lot.
From the very first day that he got here, he had a vision, he had a plan. We've all heard about it, we've talked about it, and then to actually see it happen, he deserves all the credit in the world. He's so strong when it comes to his belief that you have to continue to push forward, continue to evolve, continue to be progressive. And without that energy, without that push, it would never have been done.
Wanted to officially announce the acquisition of Justin Verlander to the Houston Astros.
Every time he made a decision, it was hard to argue the decision because they had good information, they had done their homework, and it appeared to be the right decision at the time. He didn't get them all right, but he got a lot of them right, and he's the architect of the team. I give him a lot of credit for us winning the World Series. When he came in, he said, we're going to win some championships, and we have pretty quick.
His role in this will never be overstated. He's not getting the due credit just because it's a lot of the work that he's done is behind the scenes, but the people that are in the trenches know that his contribution is second to none.
When we got that final out, yeah, I was happy for Houston, I was happy for myself and all of the employees, but I was really happy for Jeff Luhnow because many times in this rebuild, he could have said, hey, this isn't working, or I don't have belief in myself, or maybe Jim or the team didn't have belief in him. But he stuck to his guns and he saw us through, and he's earned this award and he's earned this championship.
He started from the bottom, now we're here. It is our pleasure to welcome the Houston Sports Award Executive of the Year, the General Manager of your World Champion Astros, Jeff Luhnow.
First of all, I want to thank God for my blessings and for blessing our city. We have so many great legends and heroes and athletes and people like J.J. Watt. What a wonderful opportunity we have as being members of the city. I want to thank my wife, Gina. Losing 111 games is tough on executives. It's tougher on spouses, trust me. Thank you for your support through all of that. I really want to thank Jim Crane and the ownership group. This is really his vision. I was here to implement it with other people. And there were times when the going got tough and it would have been easy for Jim to pull the plug or change directions, but he stayed the course and it paid off. These awards are not individual awards, they're organization awards. And we have a lot of people in our front office, some of whom are here tonight. Mike Elias, some of who are not here, Brandon Taubman, Mike Fast, Sig Meidel, Kevin Goldstein, Ozzo Campo. A lot of people that contributed that you don't hear about that contributed to this and have been in the trenches with me. And I really appreciate their work. I also want to thank AJ and Dave Hudgens and the rest of our coaching staff. We had the best coaching staff in baseball last year. That's why we won the World Series. And finally, I want to thank our fans. You fans have been amazing, and I know a lot more showed up in the last few years, but we had a core group of fans that stuck with us all the way through those years, and God bless them. And you know what? The plan was never to win one, it was to win more than one, so let's keep it going.
And obviously the Astros achieved the ultimate success that the other teams in Houston want to. I'm at the Texans table now, where we have Cal McNair, Vice Chairman of the Texans. And this is one thing I'll say about the McNair family. When they hire a former Belichick assistant, he stays hired, unlike the Indianapolis Colts. So, when you're owing the Colts, no, that's a cheer. Bill O'Brien is that coach. Bill O'Brien. When Bill O'Brien was hired in 2013, I'd been out of football 7 years. The Texans had fired me 7 years before. And Bill O'Brien called me up to tell me, Seth, you're still fired. And I just want you to know I'm available. I'm still out. I've got a Fitbit. I can bench press 225 pounds several times. And as we honor Jeff Luhnow tonight, just so you can get a look at him, the new general manager of the Houston Texans is in attendance tonight, Brian Gaine. Brian, we are an impatient fan base. We just saw the Astros win a World Series. I know free agency doesn't begin until March. You can't sign any big-time free agents until March, but why haven't you signed any big-time free agents yet? That's Brian Gaine, new general manager of the Houston Texans. And now coming to the stage, we have George Foreman and a brand new coach of the Houston Dash.
Since I took over in November, the Dash this year, I've only been here for a week and a half. And I thought, therefore, that I was presenting on my own. But this week, somebody, my co-presenter, sold me a grill. So I asked him to come up here to present this with me.
Thank you. Now, most people call me Big George because George is my son and my other son and 3 other sons. Who wrote that? That's the truth.
Why is that?
Too many sons named after me. You know what happened when you're in boxing? You got to make preparation. You got to save your money and make preparation for memory loss.
So, well, I think that I'm gonna call you Vera then.
That's good, I'll take it.
Okay. Now let's move on. There are many moments that make up a year. Houston has definitely seen its share from Hall of Fame inductions to an epic Super Bowl finish. It was truly a remarkable year here in Houston. From my first experience were that I was told what happened this year in Houston, and that was magic. From the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history to the Astros winning the World Series, one thing that can be said is that we experienced these moments together.
Yeah. Look, what's really remarkable is amongst all these professional sports moments, a high school homecoming queen who kicked the winning field goal is nominated tonight. In this very category, here are your nominees for Moment of the Year.
Alex Bregman's walk-off single, World Series Game 5. Homecoming queen, Claire Jeffress kicks winning field goal. Jeff Bagwell's Hall of Fame induction. World Series Game 7 celebration.
Now, the winner.
Moment of the year is
Alex Bergman, walk-off single, 2017 World Series Game 5, Moment of the Year.
So I'm not Alex Bregman, but I am here to accept on his behalf. Game 5, I'm not sure how many of the people in this room were in the stadium. So I was there too, and I had a pretty good seat to watch Alex Bregman beat him with a single. Now, I know Art Howe, my first manager, is in the room, and Phil Garner's in the room, another manager, and sometimes you need some advice from an old manager to tell you what to do in those moments. And I remember having Bregman there, and he wanted to hit a homer, and we kept saying, beat him with a single, Alex. So that's all he did. He owes it to his teammates. He owes it to Derek Fisher being really fast, coming around third base. Gary Pettis never putting on the stop sign. And the most epic game you'll ever see in Major League history, Game 5 of the World Series, Houston, Texas. So, thank you.
Coming up, the Houston Sports Awards, we get on board the Express and honor the great Nolan Ryan.
I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. I believe every lie that I ever told. Paid for every
Welcome back to the 2018 Houston Sports Awards. Please welcome to the stage longtime former Houston Astros broadcast legends, Bill Brown and Jim DeShays.
JD, he came all the way from Chicago, folks, to see you again. Come on over here, this one. Yeah? That's right, that's right. Well, this TV thing is new to us, you know. What do we do next?
You know, we're here to pay homage to the great Nolan Ryan. So I suggest you lead the way, my friend.
All right, thank you, sir. More strikeouts than anybody in Major League history.
True, true. But probably the best steak in Texas as well. You may have enjoyed some here tonight.
Regularly threw pitches over 100 miles per hour.
Cannot dispute that. Cannot dispute that a bit. Maybe the best steak in the entire country.
His number was retired by 3 different teams.
Yes, but the best steak on the whole freaking planet.
The all-time no-hitter leader with 7.
Do I get cash or a box of steaks perhaps for all this hard promotion? Is that fair?
I'm just glad we only have one-sentence lines here.
Yeah, they know who they're dealing with, don't they? The other guys came out here, they had these long, flowery speeches, and they let me talk about steak for 30 seconds. All kidding aside, it is a great pleasure to be here tonight as we pay tribute to these outstanding 34s. If I'd only known, you know, I wouldn't have been 43. Who knows where it would have ended up for me. But, you know, I had the great privilege of being a teammate of Nolan's for 3 years. I was at the beginning of my career. He was supposedly nearing the end of his. And then he went on to pitch 5 more years in Arlington. The year he left Houston, he went up to Arlington and led the American League in strikeouts. He struck out over 300 batters at the age of 42. I first came to the big leagues with the Yankees a little bit in '84 and then again in '85. And, you know, they had Phil Necro, they had Ron Guidry, they had Reggie Jackson, they had Rickey Henderson. They had a lot of star power. And then I was traded to the Astros, and I was never so starstruck than I was when Nolan strolled through the clubhouse. I mean, I was slack-jawed. It was a complete fanboy response, and I never really got over it. As starting pitchers, we tend to get a little disinterested sometimes when it's not our day to pitch. And with apologies to Mike Scott and Bob Nepper and others, you might hang out in the clubhouse in the first inning and have a cup of coffee and chat with Dennis Laborio or something. But when Nolan pitched, I was always in the dugout. It was an event, and I never got over that. He was between the lines a Superman. Off the field, in the clubhouse, he was an everyman. He related to the great players and the mediocre ones like me equally. Just as an example, my 3rd year with the Astros, 3rd year as a teammate of Nolan, about halfway through the season, he was so gracious as to tell me that I no longer had to refer to him as Sir, and I could just call him Mr. Ryan. And I thought, my God, this is a man of the people. But you know, he was the ultimate intimidator. Dale Murphy once said that he's the only pitcher in baseball that you contemplated 3 days before you actually faced him. Dick Williams, when managing the Oakland A's, said his players had a disease known as Nolanitis. We would refer to it at times as the Ryan flu. Guys would come up with a little tweak in the hammy or maybe a little sick and couldn't play the night Nolan was scheduled to pitch. And perhaps my favorite was Oscar Gamble. You remember Oscar Gamble, who recently passed away, but the great Oscar Gamble once said, and Alan Ashby used to relate this story, he was on the team bus with the Cleveland Indians heading to the Big A in Anaheim, and on the marquee it said, "Nolan Ryan pitches tonight." And Gamble's line was, "Oh boy, 0 for 4 and don't get hit in the head's a good night tonight." I will now defer to the gentleman from Missouri.
Well, I can't top that, but just as a member of the media, the broadcasting crew, we all appreciated Nolan so much for all those qualities you talked about. Just like an everyday guy to talk to after a game. Yeah, struck out 18. What else do you want to talk about? And, you know, he'd be on that bike pedaling for his next start. Just never lost sight of the work ethic that he had that made him so great. But beyond that, for Nolan and for so many athletes who are here tonight, these great guys who have chosen to live in Houston after their careers and to help out when there's a hurricane and to have foundations and contribute to the community, it's meant so much even after his career, what he's done. And that's what we carry forward about Nolan Ryan.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome four-time Grammy Award-winning national recording artist and personal friend to Nolan, Steve Wariner.
Sun is up, time's ahead. There's a stir across the land. So begins another day on life's highway. On city streets, down country roads, like a stream of people flow, spread to wind and toast on life's highway. There is hope, there is room, a bridge to build, a bridge to burn. Here's hoping you never go astray on life's highway. We are young, we were old, passing through, then passing, like the roses on life's highway. Step by step, around and around, never knowing where we're bound. From the cradle to on life's highway. There is hope, there is room, a bridge to build, a bridge to burn. Here's hoping you never go astray on life's highway. Sun is up, time's at hand. There's a stir across the land. So begin another day on life's highway. Thank you so much. Nolan, I'm mighty proud to say that I've got to share maybe a little bit of that highway with you through the years, and it's my honor now to introduce you to a couple of very good friends from the world champion Houston Astros, Nolan's son Reed Ryan, and my pal Don Sanders, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Steve. It is so great to be here tonight, and especially with my good friend, Mr. Don Sanders. You know, we've known Don since 1980 when my dad signed with the Houston Astros. Don was one of the minority owners with the team, and since that date, we've been both family friends and over the years, business partners, including starting the Round Rock Express and the Corpus Christi Hooks. But besides what Don has done for professional baseball, Don has been a great ambassador for the game of baseball, both at Sam Houston State, the University of Houston, KIPP, and Kincaid schools, donating money, building those fields, and growing the game. And so, Don, I'm honored that you're here tonight, but I have to tell you, you were not our first choice to introduce my dad tonight. Sorry to say, we tried to get George W. Bush, but he could not come tonight.
Well, Reed, I appreciate that, but because he couldn't come, at least he wanted to be part of the evening. So George sent me a personal letter that I would like to read to Nolan. Congratulations to my pal, Nolan Ryan, as he is honored this evening. I was fortunate to have witnessed many incredible moments in his storied career. Although his strikeout and no-hitter records stand today, the legend Nolan Ryan was cemented when he gave Robin Ventura, a man 20 years his junior, Hey, Whipper, you knew he would put that in there. He's been a great ambassador for America's pastime, and I am proud to call him a friend. I don't know what it's like to be a Hall of Famer, but I do understand what it's like to be known by your number. So, to all the legendary 34 being recognized tonight, congratulations on this well-deserved accolade from President 43. I thank Nolan, Earl, and Akeem for many contributions to your sport and to the Lone Star State. George W. Bush. When I got the letter and I thought about it, I would like to tell, as you can imagine, there's many, many stories with George and Nolan, but one of the stories I remember, I was fortunate enough with my family to attend the ceremonies when Nolan was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1999, along with Robin Yount, George Brett, and Orlando Cepeda. I don't know if any of you have been to the Hall of Fame, but it's a wonderful experience, but it's pretty tough too because it starts at noon. You get there about an hour before, and it is really hot. And the only people that enjoy it are the Hall of Famers like Nolan, who have the prima donna air-conditioned area. And they sit and watch us sweat. In fact, it's so hot, the first thing they do when you get there is they hand you a bottle of water. And you remember when you were a kid and you had those little fans you did like that? They passed those out. So the first three people, Nolan was third, and so George Brett and Robin, they did their speeches. Of course, they're supposed to be 15 minutes, and they go on for, seem like hours. And so Nolan finishes, and kind of everybody's about ready, and Orlando Cepeda gets up. And he thanks everybody in the nation. It is amazing how many people he either knows, heard their name, or thought he knew them. And so it goes on, and you're sweating, and even the Hall of Famers were kind of ready to get out of there. And he finishes, or at least he thought he finished. And then he turns and he says, and now I want to say a few words in Spanish. And I'm sitting next to George Bush, and he looks at me and he says, I hope it's adios.
I'm sure everybody here is ready for Don and I to say adios as well. So with that, without further ado, you know him as a Hall of Famer. You know him as the all-time strikeout king. You know him for 324 wins, for 7 no-hitters. But my brother and sister and I know him as a Hall of Fame dad, my father, Mr. Nolan Ryan.
Former teammate didn't get too many chances to interview you, so he has the first question for you.
Well, before you ask the question, we don't have any extra states.
In the relationship between legend and rookie, the rookie tends to remember a lot of things that the legend probably doesn't. But you straightened me out on pecan. Because I remember my rookie year saying, hey, Big Jim, you find a place to live yet? And I said, yeah, I'm living in Pecan Grove. And Nolan said, what's a pecan? And I said, well, it's a little nut and they make pie out of it. He said, oh, you mean a pecan? I went home that night, dear diary, Nolan told me how to say pecan.
That is true.
So my question, I talked about the whole, the rookie stars in the eyes. Was there anybody like that for you, either a teammate or somebody that was in the league when you came in?
Very much so. When I was 19 years old when I walked into the clubhouse in New York with the Mets, and I remember looking around, and it was a veteran ball club, and I was thinking, what in the world am I doing here? And they all just sat and looked at me when I walked in, and I felt like, man. And one guy, a guy by the name of Jim Hickman, came over and introduced himself to me, and he was a veteran player at the end of his career, and welcomed me and told me if there was anything that I needed, he would take care of it. And so I really appreciated that, because he was the only player that did that. And so I never forgot that. And I wanted to make sure when the rookies came in that I made them, hopefully made them feel welcome.
You did. You and Ruth were great. These folks are the first family of baseball, not just here, but all around Major League Baseball. And when you were a young player back in the day and you came to Houston, Nolan embraced all of us. Ruth took care of all the ladies. They invited us out to their ranch over the All-Star break. They invited us to all these functions. They taught us basically how to be big leaguers.
One thing I would like to say is, Earl's wife's here tonight, and I'm really glad to see her. And Ruth, I started dating Ruth when she was 13, and what her mother was thinking, I don't know. And this is, we have celebrated our 50th anniversary. And,
oh, hear, 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 hear.
I've never asked Ruth or you this, but I've read that when it came time for you to get on your throwing program before spring training, she actually put on the catching gear and caught you. Is that actually true?
Yeah, it's true. And we did an Advil commercial, her and I, where she was catching me, and people thought, well, that's a bunch of baloney. But I'll tell the story that one time I had a field at my house. We lived out in the country. And so it was a Sunday afternoon, Ruth and I were out there throwing, and I used to play a game called long toss, and I'd keep getting further and further back and try to ride the ball. And once I got inefficient, then I'd shorten back up. Well, I got to that point, and I short hopped her, and the ball hit her on the shin, and a big goose egg jumped up on her shin, and she was flopping around on the ground. And so I go over there, and I get her up, and I take her in the house, put an ice pack on her shin, and my son Reese is sitting in there doing his homework, which I should have never bothered him. And I said, Reese, come on out and let me finish up my throwing program. And so he came out there, and about the third ball I threw him a short hop in and hit him right there and broke his glasses. And so I take him in, put ice pack on his head, and my daughter Wendy's watching TV. And I said, Wendy, come out and help me finish up my program. She says, go throw against the backstop. I'm not getting hit.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nolan Ryan.
Thank you.
The Houston Sports Awards honor our high school and college players of the year next. Welcome back to the Houston Sports Awards. Please welcome the voice of the Houston Dynamo, Glenn Davis.
All right, what a night it has been here. And I feel a little bit lonely up here. Mark Vandermeer's got his partner Andre Ware here. Bill Brown's here with Jim Deshays, and I'm here all by myself. The other thing is I couldn't get a date for this evening. All those other guys had a partner. Soccer, once again, in America, getting shortchanged. European countries, South America, all of these countries have tons of commentators, and here I am all by myself. So, I'm figuring somebody has to help me out here tonight. I need a partner, and I want to know if there's anybody in this room who's willing to come up here and help me with this award. Anybody here? How about this guy? How about Mr. Roger Clemens? So I'm drafting Roger, and this is going to be the greatest thing that's ever happened to soccer in America since David Beckham.
Appreciate it. I got to tell you, the Rocket, aka DJ No Request, is always here to help you out. And you know, you looked a little lonely up here, so let's get it done.
All right, here we go. So, every young athlete has two things in common: passion, potential, a high ceiling, the ability to succeed, and God-given potential to achieve.
This year's, that's you, Glenn.
Oh, yeah.
So let me help out. I think you did mine, but I'll do this. But more often, let me do you.
Let's do it together.
Yeah. But more often than not, it's the high school that we're here to see the passion and potential that turns into dreams and reality.
Okay, I'm doing your part now, Roger. This year's Texas Sports Nation High School nominees are
Charlie Collier, Barbers Hill High School. Trey Faltine, Travis High School. Grant Gunnell, St. Pius X High School.
This year's Texas Sports Nation High School Athlete of the Year is
Grant Gunnell, Texas Sport Nation High School Athlete of the Year. Congratulations to Grant, and it's nice having company up here with Roger Clemens and Grant. So let's try this again. We're going to need to invite somebody else back up here. One more round of applause for Grant Gunnell and Roger Clemens.
Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. I believe every lie that I ever told.
So I'm still here by myself. So I got to ask somebody else to help me out. If you were in gym class back in high school, you remember picking teams. And you remember no one ever wanted to be picked last. You remember Sometimes they didn't want to be on your team. So I'm going to ask for help one more time, and I think I got somebody who can help me on this one. Is there anybody else out there that wants to help me with the College Athlete of the Year? How about this guy, Vince Young?
College is where young men and women go to become adults.
Where adolescents go to cultivate their minds and their talents. We're looking at the teleprompter. It said Bun B. I don't think he's here.
Many look back upon their years fondly and regard them as the best years of their lives. While cultivating their minds and broadening their horizons intellectually, many student athletes develop their talents and skills with hopes of a career in their individual sports.
So, with that, here are the nominees for College Athlete of the Year.
Justin Jackson, University of North Carolina. Nicole Mendez, University of Oklahoma. Ed Oliver, University of Houston.
Okay, so again it says Bun B, but this year's Houston Sports College Athlete of the Year is, and I'm going to let Vince.
Go, Ed Oliver.
Okay, I don't think Ed is here, but Ed Oliver is the winner. And our thanks to this man right here, Vince Young.
On the next Houston Sports Awards, we honor the Fan and Coach of the Year. And now to present our Fan of the Year, please welcome the Sports Radio 610 Triple Threat, Sean Pendergast, Rich Lord, and three-time Super Bowl champion, Ted Johnson.
Without the fans, professional sports wouldn't be what they are today, and Houston has, hands down, the greatest fans in the world.
I think one of the coolest parts about this next award is that whether you're a player, coach, a manager, an executive, member of the staff, training, whatever you are, a member of the media, which we're fortunate enough to be, we all started out as fans. We all have that commonality, so this is a very cool award. And one quick aside I just wanted to mention, because Nolan Ryan confirmed this with us on the Triple Threat before the festivities this evening, you are all a part of Houston sports history tonight. Nolan Ryan, Earl Campbell, and Akeem Olajuwon have never been at the same event together until tonight.
Wherever you are, Earl Campbell, the first number I ever wore was 34 because of you, brother. So thank you, Earl Campbell. So tonight we honor and celebrate everyone in sports. It's only fitting that we recognize Houston's greatest fans. Here are the nominees for Fan of the Year.
Carson Riley, home run assist to Carlos Correa. Jocelyn Kellogg and Madeline Roxford, the ultimate Rodeo Houston fans. Rocket Girl Brianne Hodenfield.
And the winner is Carson Riley. Carson, yeah, there we go. So Carson, what were you thinking when that ball was coming to you, man?
I have no idea.
How's your life changed since that day when all your friends saw you on TV?
A lot of people recognize me though.
And for people who don't know the backstory, I know that was a special day for you and your family. You had lost your brother Cade in an accident just a month before, and I know your family felt like Cade was with you guys there that day. What would Cade think of all this craziness going on right now?
He would probably be up here instead of me. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carson Riley.
Good job, Carson Riley. They told me I'm not allowed around polite company anymore, so I snuck back in here to the Peanut Gallery. These lucky diehard fans were selected from the Powerade blue carpet earlier this evening for showing their H-Town spirit. They are a true representation of what Houston pride and dedication is. That's why I'm excited to be drawing the winning golden ticket number with them back here, Peanut Gallery style. Over the last few months, Houstonians purchased 500 golden ticket raffle tickets at $100 a piece. The entire $50,000 raised is being donated to helping those Houstonians most in need. So one of these lucky golden tickets is about to receive their ultimate year-long Houston Sports All-Access Pass, which is a pair of season tickets to the Astros, Rockets, Dynamo, Houston Open, Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, as well as Texans and Texas Bowl tickets. And the winning number, here we go. Number 12, John Savinsky. John Savinsky is going to pretty much every event in Houston for the next year. Clear your calendar. And now, please welcome Larry Dierker and Phil Garner to the stage.
Okay. Wow, scrap iron. The peanut gallery? We could have saved a few bucks and just got picked from the crowd.
Yeah, you know, we're on fixed income now, Larry.
Well, one thing I do know is Houston's seen produce some of the greatest coaches ever to lead a team. Bump Phillips, Rudy T, Gary Kubiak, and I see more luminaries out here in the first two rows of tables that I've seen under one roof in Houston in all my life. None of us would be here without great coaches.
Larry, I might have a hard time forgiving you here. You left out two important coaches in that list you did.
A good,
Okay. Well, never mind. A good coach can take an individual from good to great. You can give him the right balance of advice, insight, feedback, in hopes of growing talent to its full potential.
And a great coach can take it one step further, balancing individual strengths and personalities, thus creating something we call chemistry. Great coaches will turn great athletes into even better teammates.
This year's nominees for the Power A Coach of the Year are
Wilmer Cabrera, Houston Dynamo. Mike D'Antoni, Houston Rockets. Richard Flores, Cy Falls High School. AJ Hinch, Houston Astros. Ed Podrowski, Cy-Fair High School.
And the winner is, what a surprise, AJ Hinch, Powerade Coach of the Year.
Joining us to present the award from Coca-Cola Southwest Beverages, Vice President and General Manager, Rick Kerr.
What a night. First and foremost, a lot of thanks to go around the room. Thanks to the Houston Sports Authority for doing this incredible event. Thanks to the greats that are sprinkled throughout this room. I mean, can we talk about Earl Campbell and Nolan Ryan and Hakeem Olajuwon? Thank you for setting the standard of what Houston sports is all about. Incredible. As far as it goes with the Astros, I want to thank Jeff Luno over at Table 3 for believing in me. You hired me at a time where things weren't perfect around here, but you had a vision, and if I was part of that vision, I owe you great thanks for what you do for me. To the players, there's a couple players in here. George Springer, I know, is in the room. Your World Series MVP is in the room. Jose Altuve. And Jose Altuve made his way into the room as well. Coaching is about players. And when you have good players and great players, and as our coaches have here, it's amazing. A lot of managers in the room as well. Larry Dierker, Phil Garner, Art Howe. My first manager is in the room as well. So you guys paved the way for a lot of us. And last but not least, I want to thank my family. My wife Erin is in the room and at Table 3. She thought being a wife of a player was crazy. Being a wife of a coach is just as crazy. And last but not least, my father died 25 years ago to the day. And to share this award on this particular day in this city after this year means the world to me, and I'll forever be grateful.
Coming up, our final tribute to our legendary 34s, Hakeem Olajuwon. Tribute to our legendary 34s, Hakeem Olajuwon. Welcome back to the 2018 Houston Sports Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, RL and Deep Soul.
Ludacris going in on the verse, 'cause I never been defeated and I won't stop now. Keep your hands up, get them in the sky for the homies that ain't making it, my folks locked down. I never went nowhere. What they saying, Luda's back. Blame it on that contour. The hood call it Luda Yak. And I'm on this foolish track, so I spit my foolish flow. My hands go up and down. Go, my verses still be serving, tight like a million virgins. Last time on a college remix, now I'm on the original version. Can't never count me out, y'all better count me in. Got 20 bank accounts, accountants count me in. Make millions every year, the South champion. 'Cause all I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. All these lines on my face is getting clearer. The past is gone. Oh, it went by like dust to dawn. It's the way everybody's got their dues to pay.
All right, Houston, get on your feet. Here to celebrate and honor Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, his teammates from the University of Houston and Phi Slamma Jamma, Ricky Winslow, Ronaldo Thomas, Eric Dickens, and from the Houston Rockets, Eric Riley, Alan Level, Rodney McRae, Carl Herrera, Matt Bullard, Mario Ellie, Dikembe Mutombo, Clyde the Glide Drexler, and never underestimate the heart of a champion, head coach Rudy Tomjanovich.
It's good to be back in Houston. Thank you. Sometimes when I tell somebody his story, they think it's from a fairy tale, but it really happened. A 15-year-old boy from Nigeria picked up a basketball and fell in love with the sport. He brought his dream to America. He came with little fanfare. They did not know him then. He had great size. He had fantastic athletic ability, and he had a gigantic heart. But he was new to the game. He was new to the game, so they suggested go play with more experienced players. So he, being a guy who wanted to really succeed, didn't mess around down here. He went to the top. He went to play with the king, Moses Malone. Now King Moses did not go easy on this young prince, but that experience really paid off, and he began to dominate college basketball. And he, along with the great Clyde Drexler and the other Phi Slamma Jamma players, electrified college basketball with the 3 straight Final Fours and had 2 shots at the championship. The young prince then faced a big decision. Does he stay in school and go after another one, or does he turn pro? And his favorite team had a 50-50 chance to win the coin flip. He decided to go pro, and Commissioner Stern, on his first time on the podium, said, with the first pick in the 1984 draft, the Houston Rockets take Hakeem Olajuwon from the... They had a player that he really respected, Ralph Sampson. They became the Twin Towers, and everybody had high hopes that they would bring a lot of championships, and in their second year, they almost did. Gave the Boston Celtics a great run for their money. Unfortunately, Ralph had knee problems, and his career was cut short. The next several years, the Rockets had their ups and downs, but Hakeem was an all-star right from the beginning, and he wasn't satisfied. He wanted to get better. He kept expanding his game. He added new things, and he worked on the things he already had. He reinvented the center position. He wasn't a big, slow guy that stayed close to the basket. He played inside and outside. He was a combination of many things. He was powerful and he was graceful. He could use strength or he could use finesse. He could come down and dunk right on somebody's head or use his great footwork to maneuver by him. And he had something that nobody else had, his patented dream shake. Now, on top of all that, he was a great defensive player. He was tremendous at blocking shots, and he could get out there on the floor and steal the ball from the guards. He is the only player to have retired in the top 10 in 4 categories: scoring, rebounding, steals, and block shots. He's only one of 4 players that ever recorded a quadruple double. And I feel so blessed that I was there for his whole career. I saw him take those steps, do the hard work, where he transformed himself from that prince into the king. And in our first championship season, the league acknowledged that he was the king. The next year, he had some injuries, and he missed a lot of games. And they went and gave the MVP trophy to another great player. The thing was, Dream wasn't done with wearing the crown, so he went out and showed the whole world he was still the best, and the Rockets won back-to-back championships. As you can tell, I have great admiration for Akeem as a basketball player, but I have just as much admiration for him as a person. He is a good human being of high character and integrity. His parents did a great job instilling these respectful qualities in him. When they presented him that MVP award, he humbly called his teammates up with him, and they raised the trophy together as a sign of unity. When we won our second championship, they came out and interviewed him on the court. The first thing out of his mouth, they said, "How do you feel about this championship?" He said, "I'm happy for Clyde." That's the kind of guy he was. He cared about his teammates, and he cared about the fans. I also saw him grow as a spiritual person. He wasn't one of these guys that just talks the spiritual game. It is something in his everyday life, and I have to thank him because I used his example to help me on my spiritual path. We have all benefited from his wonderful gifts. The media, the fans, the league, the owners, his teammates, and his coaches. I am personally so grateful, not only for the hard work and his dedication, but his cooperation. A coach cannot have success unless his best player buys into the system. Lastly, there never was a player like Akeem. There never will be another like him. To me, he will always be the king. Let's bring up Akeem Olajuwon.
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm tired of the way that things have been. The way that things have been. Second things second, don't you tell me what you think that I can be. I'm the one that you said, I'm the master of my secret. The master of my secret. I was
First of all, I'd like to thank God for this blessing. When our Campbell, Mr. Campbell was sitting down here, and of course, Mr. Allen and Ryan, I was thinking, wow, how am I going to come back just to be the last one? But when I saw all my teammates, I need that support. just to give me that comfort. So I'm very, very happy the way to see how now this surprise to see all these guys that I've not seen in a long time. I saw you about 5 years ago, Ricky. I mean, just to see, I see Clyde every day. And Matt, I watch it on TV. So, but to see Ronaldo from college, my second year, he was a freshman. So it's a great pleasure for me, an opportunity to be able to see these guys again. And I'd like to thank the Rocket organization. I saw Mr. Les Alexander. I called him a couple of times, since I came back. So it's just to see him again since he saw the team. And I'd like to thank him for his contribution to the organization, the city of Houston. And when he handed the team over, he cannot sell it to anybody better than Tillman Fertitta. So we have a great honor also in Houston. I'm very, very honored to be part of the first. This is an historic moment in Houston history to have the first Sport Awards and to be part of it with this legend, Mr. Campbell and Mr. Ryan. I feel very fortunate. How do I get that number 34? Truly, I really wanted number 33. Because of Karim Abdul-Jabbar wore 33, so I wanted to wear that number. But that number was taken. Then I was, well, this is 34. Okay, I'll take 34. So I would like to thank everybody here tonight. There's a lot of great fans that really have true knowledge of the sports. So they really appreciate what the accomplishment and achievement that all these great have achieved. So very blessed. Thank you, Coach. Coach gave me the freedom because most of the time when in college, you were more restricted. You're a big man, you stay inside, you play the game. Don't put the ball on the floor. If you put the ball on the floor and it gets stolen, then you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Or they tell the guards, if you see him outside, don't throw him the ball, only when it's a paint. So I was restricted so much in college, but finally, Coach gave me that freedom. He has that trust that I can put him on the floor, even if I lost the ball sometime, it's part of the game. But I have that freedom to be able to create opportunity. Thank you, Coach. And and of course, Clyde, long history, my career at Clyde is just parallel, he's a great friend, the first day I came to Houston, we were very, very close, and to have him as a friend up till now is wonderful, and what he has accomplished, Of course, my brother Mutombo, always speaks so highly, very respectful. We have a great relationship. Thank you for coming. And Eric, and Matt, you're doing a great job. Transition to commentation, you did a fantastic job. So, Mr. Level, always good to see you. So I'd like to thank Ronaldo, Ronnie, amigo. Major League, I did these guys when they interviewed them, and sometimes when I hear something that they say about me, I feel so humble. So I'd like to thank everybody for this opportunity. Thank you for that.
Coming up on the Houston Sports Awards, we honor our Athlete of the Year plus a Lifetime of Achievement Award.
You ready to quit? Tired? Good. You think this is hard? This is the warm-up. Playtime's up. Let's do it again.
Welcome back to your 2018 Houston Sports Awards. Joining us now to present tonight's Lifetime Achievement Award are voices of the Houston Rockets, Bill Worrell and Matt Bullard.
Tiptoe, waste time with the masterpiece, to waste time with the masterpiece. You should be rolling me, you should be rolling me.
Well, Bill, let's go back all the way to 1994 when Les Alexander acquired the Houston Rockets. And in his first year as owner, the Houston Rockets won their first championship. Clutch City was born. And then the following year, back-to-back championships for Les Alexander.
I think that's a pretty good start, Matt. The one thing that impressed me about Leslie, when he first showed up for the first press conference, he said, I'm a quick learner. I don't know much about the basketball game. I love it, but I'm going to learn quickly. And boy, did he ever do that. The one thing he did say, we're going to win championships in Houston, and I'm going to give back to the community and leave it better than when I found it. And he certainly did that.
Well, Les owned the team for 24 years. In those 24 years, Les was known as one of the best owners in the NBA, and Commissioner Adam Silver calls Les Alexander one of the true competitors whose vision helped grow the game globally.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. In fact, Les just hated to lose, and he was the man. Let's take a look at Leslie Alexander. Leslie Alexander is someone who would literally give you the shirt off his back. He's intelligent, he's savvy, and he's made a fortune on rolling the dice on good advice. He got his law degree while working on Wall Street, and even then he knew he wanted more. Leslie loved basketball and set his sights on buying an NBA team. So he did his homework, took the advice, rolled the dice, and it was the Houston Rockets proving to be the best bet.
Here comes this little short guy from Florida taking over. Like, who is this guy? You know, but he came in, he made some bold moves, some bold predictions that we win a championship, you know, and it was fun playing for the guy, even though he traded me, but it's all good. We still love him because he runs a great organization, and business is business.
At his opening news conference, Leslie said he had 2 goals: to win championships and give back to the community.
I would like to be the most charitable owner in the league. I'd like to help the city of Houston in any way I can.
That first goal was achieved immediately when the Rockets won back-to-back championships in 1994 and 1995.
Time running out on the New York Knicks, and the city of Houston has won its first major championship.
During that first series in '94, the Rockets lost their first 2 games at home to Phoenix, and the local paper was calling Houston Choke City.
And the Houston Rockets are going back to the Western Conference Final.
But the Rockets were resilient and came back to win the 7th game in Phoenix, and I remember Les coming into the locker room to proclaim that Houston had gone from Choke City to Clutch City. And that is how the Clutch City Foundation was formed, and the catalyst for Les to give millions of dollars back to hundreds of charities in the Houston area. Leslie was also competitive. He hated losing. He was always looking to make his team better, never backed down from going out and getting the pieces he wanted. He brought Scottie Pippen and Charles Barkley to Houston, and although that didn't work as well as he wanted, he did have success when he brought Clyde Drexler to Houston on Valentine's Day. The Glide and Dream combined to bring that second championship to the city.
I want to thank Mr. Alexander for bringing me back. And it's kind of like a storybook ending. Not only does it bring me back, we win the championship right away. Oh, that felt good.
Then it was Dwight Howard. Then it was James Harden. And finally, Chris Paul. When Les decided to retire, he left a championship-ready team for new owner Tillman Fertitta. And as a final gesture on his way out, in true Les Alexander fashion, quietly gave $10 million to the Harvey relief efforts. If you judge owners by championships and good men by their deeds, then Leslie Alexander deserves a toast tonight as the best in Houston sports history.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to introduce our 2018 Houston Sports Award lifetime recipient.
No, not today.
What?
Not today.
Not today?
I flew all the way from Atlanta to present the Lifetime Award to my good friend, Mr. Leslie Alexander. Please, let's clap for Mr. Leslie Alexander, please.
The show goes on all night till the morning. We dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they would see the sun? Just remember when it comes to the show. What's up?
Great to be in Houston. You've been great to me and to the Rockets. Everybody in the organization was instilled in the fact that they had to give back to the community. What a community it is. I find the people in Houston to be the nicest, the warmest, and the dearest people I've ever met in my whole life. You should give yourself an applause. I'll always be a fan of the Rockets. We have a great team this year. We could go all the way. We have a great coach. We have the best player in the league in James Harden. It's been a wonderful experience to own the Rockets. I'll never ever have an experience like that again in my life, I don't think, except for my daughter who's there and my grandchildren. It's been fabulous. Thank you very, 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 very much for this award. I love being here. Thank you again.
Here to present Athlete of the Year is Jeff Bagwell and Craig Biggio.
Ludacris going in on the verse because I've never been defeated and I won't stop now. Keep your hands up, get him in the sky.
All right, seriously, Baggy, you look like you tore him with ZZ Top.
Wait, I don't know how to look in this thing. Are you looking at that one?
Or that one.
Oh.
Either one.
Okay. What? It's the lucky beard. It's why we won this year.
No, that was my line. Yeah, that's why we won this year.
Well, that and these guys worked their tails off like none other, and we're crazy talented to begin with. It had a supportive, visionary management and ownership. You know I didn't say that. But other than that, it was the beard.
While teams are what win championships, we also know that teams are just a collection of individual talents and efforts.
This city not only has amazing teams, but also has some amazing individual talents. Talents that have been cultivated by countless hours of practice, dedication, and hard work. Athletes who did it the right way.
Here are the nominees for the Papa John's Athlete of the Year.
Jose Altuve, Houston Astros. James Harden, Houston Rockets. DeAndre Hopkins, Houston Texans. George Springer, Houston Astros.
We're good. All right. And the winner is
Jose Altuve, Papa John Athlete of the Year.
Joining us to present the award from Papa John's is President Keith Solons.
Unlike everybody else, alone, in spite of the fact that some people still think that they know, but no, he knows the code. It's not about the salary.
Well, thank you so much. It's an honor to receive this award from two Hall of Famers. I mean, I'm really happy, and I want to thank God for the opportunity to be here tonight. Thank my family back home. I want to thank all my teammates, including George. They are a big part of what we did this year. I mean, this year has been unbelievable, the World Series and everything we did, just because the fans and because Houston is the best city in the world, and I'm happy to call. And I'm happy to be able to call Houston my home. So thank you so much.
Stay with us for the biggest announcement of the night and an encore from the legendary 34s.
Got him out the dryer, he's hot. Found him in full minor with top, but a fucking nihilist porcupine. He's the type women wanna be within rappers. Hope he gets 8 years in the making, patiently waiting to blow. Now the record with your notice taking over the globe. He's got a partner in crime, his is equally dope. You won't believe the kind of that comes out of this kid's throat. He's not your everyday on the block. He knows how to work with what he's got, making his way to the top. He often gets a comment on his name. People keep asking him, was it given that birth that doesn't stand for an acronym? No, he's living proof. Let him rock in the booth. He'll get you buzzing quicker than a shot of vodka with juice. Him and his crew are known around as one of the best. Dedicated to what they do and give 100%. Forget Mike. Nobody really knows how or why he works so hard. It seems like he's never got time because he writes every note and he writes every line. And I've seen him at work when that light goes on.
Please welcome back to the stage, Bill Worrell.
Hello, everybody. Glad for hanging in there with us, but have you ever been to anything like this tonight? Is this one of the greatest events that I have seen in Houston sports history? We have one more presentation this evening. It's a special announcement that has been kept completely under wraps until now. Not even our distinguished number 34s know about this major announcement. In fact, there are only a handful of people in the entire city who are aware of the creation of this institution. In partnership with Midway, the Harris County Houston Sports Authority would like to proudly announce the creation of the Houston Sports Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame will be located downtown at Green Street. The first phase of the project will feature a walk of fame stretching from the House of Blues through the Green Street Promenade. Future phases in the works include multiple state-of-the-art LED video displays, interactive experiences, and will culminate in 3,500 square feet of interior space. And ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to announce your inaugural Houston Hall of Fame inductees, Earl Campbell, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Nolan Ryan.
The show goes on all night till the morning. We dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they would see the sun? Just remember when you come up. The show goes on all right. The show goes on all night till the morning. We dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they would see the sun? Just remember when you come up. The show goes on. Have you ever had the feeling that you was
Hakeem, you and Nolan, come on up. What a great surprise, ladies and gentlemen. Could you pick 3 better athletes for your Hall of Fame than the 3 we've honored tonight? Now, these 3 Opie Otterstedt paintings will be the first exhibits to hang in the new Hall of Fame. And remember, there's still a few of these inaugural Houston Hall of Fame prints autographed by our legendary 34s. Use the cards on your table. Our staff will bring your prints directly to you. Not only will these Hall of Famers be immortalized with their inscribed monuments on the Walk of Fame, there is one more thing synonymous with being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Please welcome Fred Cuellar from Diamond Cutters International.
Okay, I'll take
My ears are better than you thought they were.
I guess we'll, yeah, we'll go with this. You got it. Anyway, guys, if we're going to have a Sports Hall of Fame, then my goodness, there needs to be one more thing. And you guys got to promise you won't look until everybody hears the countdown. Okay, so first let's take a look here. All right, so Nolan, this is for you. Mr. Express. All right. Mr. Rose, here we go. The Dream. All right, hold on. Don't open it yet. Okay, here we go. So on a count of 3, when I get to 3, I want you to open it. Because there's one more thing, and it's the 1, 2, 3. Take a look. The Ring. Diamond Cutters International is honored to be able to do your Houston Sports Hall of Fame rings. Don't run too far away after the show. We're going to get your finger size. We can design your rings. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Campbell. It's an honor. I think it's wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. You got it.
I'll change mics with you.
You got it.
All right. 3 Hall of Famers, 1 great city, the city of Houston. These guys, every year we will meet here for this dinner. And right now the Astros are positioned along with the Rockets, the Texans, all of these sports teams to 1 year I would like to live to see 3 championship banners in baseball, basketball, and football, and soccer in Houston. And I think we can accomplish that very soon, because to go along with these guys, and of course we left out some greats too, and A.J. Foyt, and remember Gordie Howe was playing with his sons Mark and Marty back then. You've seen Bagwell and Biggio. Well, now we've got new stars, Jose Altuve, George Springer, Justin Verlander. We've got Chris Paul to add to James Harden, and of course the list goes on and on. So thank you so much to all of our winners tonight. Thank you for joining us for the first ever Houston Sports Awards. We'll see you back here again next year. Thank you, everybody.